Together, Bree.
I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much.
You're safe among friends. Never forget it.
Just got a bit long now. Hello, missus.
The little boy looks at you. He picks his nose.
You be careful. My daddy's a magister.
No, he's not. His daddy's a fisherman like most daddies round here.
They stare at you in disbelief. Then they start laughing.
You're weird. We're waiting for our friend. He went for a swim. He'll be back soon.
He went swimming all the way to Fort Happy.
Fort Joy?
That's what I said. Fort Joy. He's going to find his mum and bring her back. That's right.
I think he's an idiot. And when he gets back, I'm going to tell him so.
Barrels and the chests. On the double. You too, Julian. Show him how it's done, man. Don't let up now. Keep hauling.
Hope you ain't looking for work in this dying town. Besides, you ain't got the look of a fisher about you, I'll tell you that much.
Barrels and the chests. On the double. You too, Julian. Show him how it's done, man. Don't let up now. Keep hauling that cargo. Go on, you mute sacks of flesh. Put your backs into it. I'll not lose another day to the tide. The Lord Dread awaits. Its sails billow with Dallas's breath.
The Magister stops barking orders. He sniffs the air like a predator, turns to face you, the wolf eyeing the deer.
Oh, but yours is not a stink like the one that surrounds us, spat from a dying sea. Yours is a scent that invites a question. Tell me, have you ever been strung up by the hands? Your body swinging like a bell's clapper as your bones are being broken with cast iron rods? Respect. Try rancor.
He licks his lips. Dry flesh turns wet.
See, I'd like to string you up too. Rack you with rods and leave you dangling over a puddle of your own blood and piss. Oh, no, that won't do at all. Innocence is a mask that doesn't fit you. I'm very good at what I do, see? I don't even need a sauce hound yapping at my side. There was a whiff of something in the air when you approached. A current of filth, that is to say, sauce. Best convince me I was mistaken.
He leans in closer and sniffs the air once more.
Interesting. So I was mistaken. Must have been ambition I smelt on you, not the magic that dare not speak its name. Very well. In that case, we'll forego the gallows and turn straight to the hunt. No doubt a trustee of Dallas is champing at the bit to see some action. Seems peaceful here, doesn't it? A quiet day in a quiet town. One wouldn't think these drifting woods toss on dwarf-troubled waters, but they do. Consider for a moment the dwarf. What is he? A mule? A beast of burden? But some defy that role. There are rats among them, dancing to their rat queen's tune. I've need of a rat catcher. Of course, I must depart post-haste, but Julian here will stay behind and be a good little parrot. Ask and he will answer.
Stay behind? But I've my orders. Same as you. Dallas.
Like I said, Julian is staying. And with that, I must be off. No hard feelings about the death threats, of course. How about we part shaking hands instead of stringing them up? How very heartwarming. One last thing. The Magisters here are diligent men and women. A stranger like you may run into troubles with them. Should this happen, just wave this piece of parchment in their eager little faces. My signature will placate them without fail, I assure you. Adieu and good luck. The Lord Dread awaits. The use of the gallows, I pass on to you. The time has come, my stitched-lit lovelies. We set sail. Get on board and man your stations.
Left behind like a dog. Blah. 7 curses upon that ship.
The Magister is rubbing the dirt off his robes, none the worse for wear, apparently, from the blast of magic that knocked him off his feet.
You, the so-called friend of Dallas. I'd be whining and dining aboard the Lord Dread if it weren't for you. Your meddling in Magister affairs had better be worth it. A man of stature wouldn't be moored on a dock with no one but dead fish for company. But here I am and here you are. So, to business. Now answer me. Did you meet with a Magister caravan on your way into town? The hour's growing late and I'm beginning to worry something might have gone wrong. By the Bishop's bones, you saw it! Out with it, woman! What happened? Void token. That means source was used. Which means some third party must have attacked first. And I've a fair idea who that might have been. Raymond, that old goat, always suspected there's more to the Driftwood Dwarves than meets the eye. Hate to admit it, but I think he may be right. Too many things have gone wrong along Reaper's Coast to attribute to bad luck. Magister ships sinking, weapons disappearing, and as you've seen, a caravan attacked and destroyed. Rumour has it the Dwarvian Queen herself is behind these acts of sabotage. That is what I want you to prove. They've always been snakes in the grass. Cheap labour, sure. And hard workers, too. Half of them are their Queen's spies. Her eyes, her ears, her poison-pouring hands. You know what Queen Justinia is like, surely. A tyrant and a master strategist to boot. There's a local thug, Lohar. He runs an operation out of his hideout beneath the Black Bull Tavern. I suspect this man of being a spy for his queen.
It may be interesting to have a word with him. Find out what he's up to. Where I really want you to ferret around is Reaper's Bluffs, to the west of Driftwood.
It's wild territory, remote and hostile, where I believe the dwarves may have set up a base of operations away from prying eyes. Should you find any such place, and better yet, proof that Lohar is working on behalf of Queen Justinia, you will be handsomely rewarded, I assure you. In that case, go forth and let the hunt commence!
I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much. You're safe among friends. Never forget it.
Back for a return visit, are you? Yep.
Have you anything that would protect against
Penny for a sick dog? A glance at the dog's miserable face tells you it's sick, all right.
What am I, dog's doctor? Dog's sick. Go on, kiss a penny for a sick dog. Putty for a penny, you can sing him a love song and call him Mummy. Thank ye kindly. Any chance of another one? Penny for a sick dog and all that?
Keeping it together, Bree.
Then get out of the way, cheapskate. Penny for a sick dog, people. Go on.
You're safe among friends. Never forget it.
Penny for a sick dog. Go on you, do you, milady? Oh, yes, that's right. Another penny for a sick dog.
Once, this was a tavern, or a hotel, or
Get her,
a
Dallas.
brothel.
Get that sorcerer. Take that sorcerer. Dallas, get her.
It doesn't make sense.
You're dead, Alexander. Alexander, you're dead. You have to stay dead until we say you're not dead anymore.
That's not good.
Here, Mrs. Alexander doesn't have to stay dead, does he? See? Told ya. Take that, sorcerer. Come on, Dallas. Help me put a collar on her.
Turtle Johnny puts an invisible sauce collar on Mary Lane.
Take that, sorcerer. No more saucy sorcery for you. Alexander and Dallas save the world again. I hate this game.
The three kids stare at you in awe.
Crack! The sauce collar's broken. I'm free. How about you, Dallas? I'll kill you again, Alexander. I'm a big bad sorcerer. Woohoo!
For a moment, you watch the children play. Then you leave them to it.
I don't care if we tear this place apart plank by plank. We will find him.
You can't just charge in here and ransack my business.
There's a murder on the loose, and you're thinking about your business. You've been warned, Barnes. Now get out of my sight.
The Magister turns, and his eyes fall on you.
There's a sorcerer somewhere in this worm-ridden dump. Have you seen him? Grey cloak, grey beard, satchel of books. Lucian's teeth. Where is that runt hiding? If you see anything suspicious, anything at all, report it immediately. Do you understand?
Bugger off, I'm busy. Grisha's still the favourite.
The dwarf peers at an expertly dissected fish, gently poking its innards with his knife.
Fascinating. Most fascinating. Oh, my. I mean, no. What do you want? I'm gutting fish. What else?
The dwarf flushes red with indignation.
I was speaking to myself. I've never seen anything like these blighted fish before. I want to see what the Voidwoken have done to them. Yes, as it happens. I need to see the effects of eating these fish firsthand, if you understand me. Do as I ask, and you'll be amply rewarded, I guarantee you. Wonderful. Now, there's 3 samples that I wish to learn more about. Care to choose?
The fish instantly churns your insides. Everything turns black. A sudden vivid sensation of floating in darkness assails you. There's something in there with you. Something. Hungry and corrupt. You can't breathe. You can't breathe. The dwarf suddenly drifts back into view, peering at you with fascination.
How do you feel?
A stream of black bile suddenly erupts from your mouth and across the dwarf's boots. He doesn't even look displeased.
I see. Well, I'm sure it was nothing but a side effect of the fish. Speaking of which, I've learned a great deal from observing you. I owe you a great debt. Ah, yes, of course, but this mightn't be quite what you were expecting, but, well, the fish you ate is known as Crimson Bream, quite a fast, vicious breed. It's often used in the creation of ferocity mixtures. But those use regular specimens, not this kind. Who is to say what might happen if you brewed a ferocity mixture with a Crimson Bream that's been touched by the void itself? The effects could be quite potent. Seek out somewhere that peddles ferocity herb mixes, but make an addition. One of these, unique breams. So, now my work must continue, as soon as I've got in my quota of fish, of course. Farewell.
If any of you see so much as a rat's hair out of place, you tell the Magisters. Then we can get them out, and you can get back to work.
The stink of beer almost covers up the stink of fish.
You see a man, well-fed and wealthy, but stress has lined his face and narrowed his waist. He seems to be expecting you. He offers you a large and rusted key.
You took your time. The Magisters are searching the place, and Lohar needs to get his stuff out of the basement if he doesn't want to lose it.
He squints at you. He withdraws the key.
You're not with Lohar.
He eyes you suspiciously.
No, I don't believe you are. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to forget everything I just said. You heard nothing. Agreed? Good. Now don't let me detain you any further.
He turns back to his work. You see a man, well-fed. He tries to ignore your presence. Fails. He sighs.
See here. I'm very busy. The factory is crawling with Magisters, and our shipments to Arx are held up. Time is money. Don't waste my money. What do you want? Fish. This is a fish factory. I'm shipping fish to Arx. Now please, there's the door. I suggest you use it. When you've been in business as long as I have, you learn that there's a market for everything. You just have to find it. Or...
A dark shadow passes across his face.
sometimes it finds you. That's privileged information. I have a trade to protect.
He gives you a cool look.
You don't bother your pretty little head about it, and I'll bid you a good day. If any of you see so much as a rat's hair out of place, you tell the magisters. Then we can get them out, and you can get back to work.
Hugh, tell me, have you seen a man acting suspiciously near here? Grey cloak, grey beard, satchel slung over his shoulder. Watch your tongue. I'm after a wanted man, a tinkerer, but I could still find time to haul you into a cell. Well, if you do see anything out of place, report it immediately. He'll slip up soon, and then we'll have him. That lunatic is not going to take another Magister. It'll be a pleasure to watch Magister Raymond purge him.
The Magister looks at you, his eyes wide.
But no one is meant to know about that. I don't know who you are, but leave me be and don't speak of this again.
What? You be needing something from me, lass? Ain't much inclined to rub elbows with humans, if you catch me drift. Decency, eh? Oh, I had me some decency back in the day. Days before the Reds, days of the divine, long gone. Glad to hear you say it. The day will come we'll overthrow 'em, you mark my words. Until then, I'll practice the art of gutting unspoiled fish. I had friends. Good friends. Not even dwarves, some of them. Reds put him on a ship, sailed him to Fort Joy. Ever heard of that place? Fort Joy? They send you there means you ain't never coming back. A lot of good that does the poor buggers. Hauled off and killed so they can come back as a pigeon or petunia. Ain't no fair trade in my book. Red's got 'em. Game over. All good and well to talk about the next life, but I just wish this one were better. Fugitive? Ah, yeah. I don't think that's something I should be discussing with strangers. Because I don't intend to end up with me lips stitched together, that's why. No, I shan't be baited. I ain't saying nothing on the topic no more. Godspeed buggered fine. I'll tell you all I know.
The dwarf leans in and begins whispering conspiratorially.
This fella runs along, right, sweating, panicking. Red's racing after him like hunting hounds. Hide in a barrel, you fool, I yelled. And what do you know? He did. Problem is, he's still in there. Been hours. Can't go nowhere, he can't, not with the Reds around.
so much as a rat's hair out of place, you tell the Magisters. You're still here. Try not to be.
Still no sign. I'll flush the Razzo report. Did you find anything? Lucian's teeth. If you see anything suspicious...
Behind the containers, the fish in one of the barrels shifts slightly.
Please, you have to help me. The Magisters have gone mad. I don't know what they're talking about. I've nothing to do with the missing Magisters. I'm just a tinkerer. I wouldn't hurt an imp. And now they want to execute me. Please, you have to help me. I have to get out. I just need to get out of Driftwood. I can't risk being seen. But if you can get out of town, I can escape to Arks. Please, I'll do anything. Just don't let them see me. Don't let them find me. Damn it, hurry up. I can feel the fish oozing everywhere. Okay. Go if you have to, but please be quick. If the Magisters even think that I'm here, well, we'll all be sorry.
The dwarf reaches into a barrel and pulls out a fish. His knife glides through the scales, crimson guts spilling out in its wake. The innards fall to the floor, landing in a pool of dark bile. You'd expect fish to smell, but these reek.
Well, good thing you don't have my job, 'cause then you'd be raw, and you'd be poor. Boss has a buyer for nearly all our stock. A top price, too.
He runs his knife through another fish and flicks the blade, sending a shower of guts to the ground.
I'd say your guess is as good as mine. Except I got the sense not to ask any questions. Now why don't you march on? I ain't been paid to wag me chin.
The dwarf turns back to his work, slicing and disemboweling fish after fish as the blood and black bile mix and swirl around his boots. Looking at the barrel, you see that someone has scrawled Black House on it in paint. You cast your eyes around to see that every barrel headed to Arks has the same inscription.
Here, leave them barrels alone. I told you to take a hike, so scram!
Glorified tubs. He must be somewhere else.
The dog sniffs the wooden decking, like there's something wrong.
Something's wrong. Something's wrong, and it's not right. I don't know, but there's something wrong, and it's underneath the floor. Be careful down there, missus. You're not smelling what I'm smelling.
Still no sign. I'll flush the rat out wherever he's hiding. So, report. Did you find anything? If you see anything suspicious...
And?
Not much of a landlubber, but...
And? What news?
You found him. Excellent. Now...
The Magister steps...
What? What? No, you said you'd help. You promised. You promised you'd get me out.
I'll comb this place plank by plank. I'll find him.
Back, sorcerer, back! Don't send me away.
You found him! Excellent! Now stand aside!
The Magister steps forward with a smile and draws her weapon.
What? What? No, you said you'd help. You promised. You promised you'd get me out.
You found him!
The Magister steps forward with a smile and draws her weapon.
And? What news? And?
I'll call this place blank by blank. I'll find him.
You found him! Excellent! Now stand aside!
I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much.
You're safe among friends. Never forget it.
You lied! You said you'd get me out.
Oh, we dwarves!
last, I can breathe again. At last! I was sure I'd die in that wretched place. You have my thanks. If not for you, I probably would have been found, gutted, and salted. Oh, of course. Here. This is the most powerful scroll that I have. And the one that caused all the trouble in the first place. Take it. I hope I'll never see its like again. In the kitchens of the tavern, of all places.
That cook had it. Offered it for a great price, too. I thought she was an idiot selling it so cheap. Then again, I'm the dolt who ended up in a barrel. But if she has Magister artifacts, she must be the one they're looking for. I swear, once I get to Arx, I'm going to have the bath of my life.
Do you even know what they've done to you?
A fly buzzes around the dwarf's mutilated head. For a moment it lands, crawls across his open eye and takes off again. The silent watcher does not blink.
I did not kill Alexander, you stupid ape. Release me!
The lizard hangs from the gibbet, her face blooded and her scales discolored. Her eyes are closed, but her tongue flickers as you approach.
Welcome to Driftwood, God-woken.
One bloody eye cracks open, glittering gold appearing from beneath the swollen lid.
Chased you all the way here from Fort Joy, did they? Very well then, cut me down. There is work to be done. Or indeed you could stand there gawping as if you were a cow ordered to dance a reel. It is a masterful performance. I would applaud it, but well.
The Meister bares her teeth, stained a deep pink by her blood, and growls.
Malady is unfortunately mistaken. I cannot train you, but I can certainly help you on your path. As long as I am free of this rope. Because along with torture and interrogation, the Magisters found space in their schedules to purge me, that's why. They spent quite some time at it too. Apparently I was a rich vein to be mined. And now I hang powerless as any butchered carcass. They stopped the process just as the last of my power drained away. Just enough to rob me of my strength, but not enough to leave me a hollow sack of flesh and scales. I had hoped they simply wished to preserve my charm and beauty, but no. It seemed Dallas had ordered that I be held until she could do the deed herself. To give it the personal touch, I imagine. Now that you have had that that delightful little nugget of gossip, perhaps you could do your damn job and let me loose?
The lizard grimaces, shifting awkwardly as she dangles.
I am in intense pain. You are either insufferably cruel or insufferably stupid. Insufferably stupid. As if there was any doubt. Oof. Give us our fierce Godwoken. You are whippet thin, implying you've been a captive. Your wrists have seen the sun, but your neck has not, so you sported a collar, not shackles. Thus you escaped Fort Joy. After an escape, any sane creature would rest, but the bags under your eyes indicate you haven't. Why not? You must have been chased. Thus... thus you must have been important. No one important escapes a prison without help, and no one frees sorcerers bar the Seekers. They thought you were worth saving, and thus I surmise you are Godwoken. Now, an important person does not come to Driftwood unless they seek someone even more important than themselves, so I further surmise you are here for me and will help me down. Now!
A slow, pained grin spreads across the lizard's face. Her tongue flickers.
Not quite as stupid as I imagined. I am head of the Seekers, girl. I can taste your sauce. It wafts about you like honeysuckle on the breeze. Now, if you would be so kind, my bonds?
The Meister bares her teeth.
Malady is unfortunate. By the seven, where are you going? Get me down! Come now. Is this really...
A Magister guard approaches. Behind her, on the gallows, 2 lizards. One in a Magister uniform hangs dead from her neck. The other hangs from her hands, still alive.
Step away from the prisoner! You're going to... what, now? She betrayed Alexander. I'd sooner die than free her.
Please, why would I kill Lucian's second most charming son?
I'll regret this, I know I will. All right, I'll stand aside.
Well, have you found time in your busy schedule to do your duty and release me? Be quick about it. Who knows when that Magister might return? God's teeth, it feels good to move again. Now, best scurry off before that Magister wanders back. Meet me at my home in Driftwood, and we can see what you're made of.
Off you go. I can't be seen raternizing with the likes of you. A sorcerer? Ha! Second rat wizards by my book. The reddish-coloured flesh beasts round here string your kind up by their hands.
The rat hisses at you with sibilant malevolence.
Carry on then, stink beast. Don't let little old me distract you from your very important stink business.
There's one unaffected area. Perhaps there's still a chance. There you are, little egg.
Baby's gone! Stolen egg! Stolen and gone! Help, 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 help! Ah! Transform! Not a chicky baby anymore! All gone! All gone for good!
She leaps up and grabs the egg with her foot, kicking it under her warm underbelly and settling down upon it contentedly.
Shh! Little beaver baby, Mama's here, warm and here with you again.
She cocks a black eye up at you and winks.
Thank you. Ah! I have something for you. Something I buried behind the coop. It's yours. It's yours. Unless some other scratchily poker found it first, of course.
I've spotted something.
The dog lies there quietly, clearly in great pain.
What are you looking at? I'm sick here. Get lost. Got a pain in the neck. Got a bad pain in the neck.
It flinches. A low, threatening growl builds within its throat.
You're safe among friends.
Under the collar, you find the sharpened points of metal rivets, gouging the poor dog's skin. The dog bares its teeth at you and growls. The dog gives you a long, hard stare, but does not bite you. Yet. The dog goes to bite your hand, and then realizes the pain is gone.
Hey, I feel okay. Thanks, woman. I think I'll wander off now. Here, before I go, what can I do to show my gratitude? Master did. Huh? Wait a minute. Master hurted me? Excuse me a minute. I'm gonna go now, but first I have a thing I need to do.
He turns to his master.
You bad man, you!
Smells worse over here than a dozen rotten eggs dropped in a vat of vinegar.
Well, don't come over. Not like you're buying anything.
Penny for a grieving beggar whose dog ran away. God damn it. How's my livelihood? Penny for a grieving beggar? I reckon I'm owed it here. You wouldn't do that, would you? Oh, yes. You would do that, wouldn't you? I couldn't prevail upon you to change your mind, could I?
How you holding up?
He gives you a cool look, then rummages in his pocket. He counts the money out and hands it over.
That's your lot. Go on then. Get lost, you freeloader. I'm working here.
Bishop Alexander was
smells worse over here than a dozen rotten eggs dropped in a vat of vinegar.
What am I going to do? Oh, was in that blasted stew? Leaving my side for a while longer yet.
The Meister's back! The Meister's back! She doesn't feel like playing, but...
The Meister sits slumped in a chair, looking around the room as she works her shoulder with one hand. It looks like it was dislocated by the gallows.
Damnable red cloak baboons ransacking my wardrobes, as if I would keep ancient valuable secrets in a pile with my unmentionables.
She takes a deep breath, and with a twist, a click, and a screech of pain, she shoves her shoulder back into its socket.
I swear by the seven, if we did not have more important matters to attend to.
Reaching across the table, she pulls a bowl of hot water towards her and fishes some bandages, a needle and thread out of a box. She slowly starts to tend to her wounds.
At least the barbarians were unable to club their way into my vault, so everything you need should be safe. In your case, more than I suspect, man, God or even reptile can provide. However, we must soldier on. It is not enough to be God-woken in order to ascend to divinity. There is a process.
As she speaks, the Meister uncorks a vial of shimmering liquid, sauce. She lets a couple of drops fall on her hand, but instead of infusing with her body, they quickly evaporate on her scales. She stares at the empty spot on her palm for a long moment before turning back to you, continuing as if nothing had happened.
A process by which God-woken may ascend. It begins with discovering your deepest self, delving into your own soul. We shall begin once we have the tools we need from my vault. You may have been chosen God-woken, but becoming divine requires more than a supernatural pat on the head. Come, God-woken. It is time to see just how awake you are. Fortunately, the Magistrate fashion. Kindly remove that painting from the wall. say my instructions will not be... Your talent for following simple instructions fills me with wonder and pride. Push the button. Now, kindly go to the vault and enter the combination. I shall call it out as you go.
A stone door lies flush with the floorboards. Etched whorls in the granite frame a delicate rotary dial. Gleaming under the dim light, the metallic dial almost seems to wink at you. Taking your time, you carefully enter the combination. The metallic sounds of the tumblers falling within the mechanism let you know you entered the code correctly.
Excellent. Follow me. Your time is at hand, Godwoken.
Ancient runes.
Come speak
Weird
to me when you wish to
contraptions.
proceed.
This place
And
is
try
an
not to break
arcanist's
anything in the
dream.
meantime.
Opening the door, you see a selection of ingredients, thrown together in no particular order. After a quick rummage, you spot the blackroot nestled between the grated dragon's tongue and Trudene oil. You gather up the blackroot, obsidian lance, and ancient bowl, and kick the door of the cupboard closed. The Meister is examining her wounds, prodding at this, wincing at that. Her face seems grim as she turns to you.
Do you know what it means to have the power of the divine, Godwoken? And you, in your infinite wisdom, would know what is better. You would judge your enemies without prejudice and make decisions that could hurt your own for the greater good? No. Becoming the divine means taking on the power of all the gods and the responsibility for all the races. The divine was created by the gods to shelter us from the void. The divine cannot use her power for anything else. When you become the divine, there is no more self.
For just a moment, her eyes soften as she looks at you.
It is no small thing to ask, but it is your duty. Without a new divine, Rivellon will die. Very well, then. Let's see if we can't snatch divinity from the jaws of the void. The ritual itself is quite simple. Drop some blackroot in the bowl, mix in a little blood, set the concoction aflame, and then inhale the smoke. Ignore any feelings of dizziness, burning in your lungs, or a dire sense of existential dread. They're all perfectly normal, although you will need to sacrifice a little sauce along the way. Everything you need is here. Ingredients in the cupboard, sauce in the glowing fountain, ritual in the tome by the bookcase, even an incinerator to provide a flame.
The Meister looks back at her wounds, curiously prodding them as fresh blood oozes out, staining her claws.
Quite. Mind you, being torn asunder by a Voidwoken would be even more inconvenient. So if you wouldn't mind...
The Meister points sharply to the ingredients cupboard.
And do not lose anything! These ingredients are rare indeed. I'm not hiking back out to the Cloisterwood to fetch you more blackroot.
As you suck the smoke deep into your lungs, your vision starts to swim and cloud. There is an intense pounding in your head, and you can feel the world fading. As the world fades away, you lose all sense of being grounded. You reach out, but you could feel yourself falling slowly, sinking into the depths of your own soul.
It's recess of my soul, but it looks like the Hall of Echoes.
Bathed in the half-light of these starless barrens, you spot a figure you could only describe as a second self. It looks haggard and weak, its very voice but a feeble echo of your own.
My chosen, come closer, so that you may see me as I truly am. Look me in the eyes.
The apparition clasps your face in its shaking hands. You suddenly feel your eyes tingle. Everything becomes brighter, sharper. Blacks and whites become glorious bursts of color, then fade back into their accustomed spectrum.
Blind eyes, shine brightly. Speak the spell and see.
Strange mirror image of yourself. Before you stands the god Rekt in all his spectral glory.
You know me now, don't you? I saved you from drowning. I blessed you, made you powerful. And now I've come to seek some power in return. Your god-woken soul is my last refuge, my last bastion. May as well make the best of what you have to offer.
Rekt nourishes himself from the source that abounds in your presence. You feel it deep down inside yourself.
Ah, yes. Just what I needed. I tell you, dying just doesn't become a god. The void itself is hunting down the gods, leeching us in ways we never thought possible. Droplet by droplet, we are being drained. We're battling for our very survival. It's a battle we're losing, and should we truly lose, all will be cast into oblivion. To save us both, as a matter of fact. You must realize that our fates are now as one, just as our souls are now as one. We are I. Together we are a force to be reckoned with. But if we seek to survive the onslaught of the Void, we stand no chance unless we become vastly more powerful than we are now. That means there is but one place we can go. The Well of Ascension. It is a lake, a pool of pure source in which the powers of the Seven lie united. We gave them up freely to create the first divine. Each of us donated half of that which makes us gods. To bathe in the lake is to become our chosen. That is where the road to divinity leads, and you must be the first to reach it at all costs. It was a time of selflessness and sacrifice, in the face of our old enemy. It was an act of heroism, and a dreadful mistake. A mistake we must rectify. The Void is stronger than ever. A new divine won't be enough. You need to go to the Well of Ascension, not to bathe in the source of the Seven, but to take it. All of it. Only she who claims everything will be everything. The Void's doom. This world's liberator. It's very simple, really. They will either bow to you, or be undone. But of course, that is what they are saying to their own God-woken as we speak. We both know they won't bow, just like we both know you will never bow to them. Only one can become a god strong enough to safeguard our world. One, at the expense of all others. So make no mistake, my champion. Chances are the road to divinity will be paved with dead gods, their blood on your murderous hands. But don't let that dismay you, for these sins will be washed clean by the knowledge you committed them to save all of existence, to save your kin, and your loved ones, and the world they live in. They will be at your mercy, which is vastly preferable to you being at theirs. Wouldn't you agree? So fret not, but revel in the promise of the lake. I will lead you there when you're ready, when you've become a true master of the Source and speak the language of creation itself. Our journey will be fraught with peril. It is a pilgrimage of challenges that will require you to command Source like only a God-woken can, and wield its most powerful spell.
Hoarse laughter rolls and echoes into infinity.
You flatter me, my chosen. But if all I had to do was give, you would have long since have received. We are I now. The spells you need to know I will teach you when you are ready. But first, you must learn to channel the Source in greater volumes. That is why you need to seek Masters of the Source. You must make them teach you, so that you may become a master in turn. So, return to Rivellon and seek out these sages where they dwell. Convince them to share with you their deep-seated bond with the Source. Once you have, you may return to me here. Something that will make you understand that for a god, there is precious little difference between the living and the dead. Source is. It is a constant, a subject of neither time nor transience. All of life is Source, and in Source it is, immortally so. You have the vision of a god now. Eyes that can see spirits, the souls of the dead made manifest in Source. Speak the spell during your peregrinations, and you will see them. Where the dead lie, the dead linger. Best of luck, my champion.
The Meister stares intently at you. Her eyes are tired and bruised, but determined.
Still alive? Gods above, there might be something to you after all.
She leans in, her bloody tongue flickering hungrily about your face.
Tell me, what did you see? What you know?
The Meister's eyes flash with fury, but she holds her tongue and steps back.
You are not a pile of ash, so the ritual was a success, albeit partially. You had all the material requirements, so I can only assume your source was lacking. That is unfortunate.
Indeed not. And ever more difficult when you've been purged. I was a master of Source once, but no longer. The Magisters saw to that.
The river of my source has been dammed. My link to the font from which it flows, severed. So we must seek alternatives. Alas, the only Source Masters not yet hauled off to Fort Joy or turned into meat puppets are those too dangerous or cunning for the Magisters to contain. Sorcerers that allowed their power to corrupt them. Many are wicked, cruel, vile, and generally not good teacher material, but we may have no others to turn to. Were the circumstances any different, I would indeed agree. However, it is the path we walk, no matter what the cost. No matter what is asked of you.
The Meister doubles over in a violent coughing fit, struggling for breath. After a few moments, she regains her composure, wiping a thin smear of blood from the corner of her mouth.
No matter what is asked of you, you must learn from them. And you do not seem to be paying attention. Sorcerers, evil, controlling your source, saving Rivellon, please. Please tell me at least some of this rings a bell. Your focus, your only focus, must be on finding these masters, on finding the secrets to divinity. Nothing else matters. The Magisters have kept ledgers with all known sorcerers, especially the powerful ones not yet captured. They would be an invaluable resource. But do be careful not to get caught. I was their guest for a time, and I promise you the gallows was the most comfortable part of the experience. And if their barracks turns out to be as empty as their skulls, just try to keep an ear to the ground. There may still be powerful sorcerers hiding in these lands.
As she speaks, one of her wounds reopens, a dark red stain spreading across her tunic. She hisses in frustration and starts to bind the gash.
I wish there was more I could do, but in this condition, I would be more a hindrance than a boon. Godspeed, and remember, do whatever it takes.
The spirit of an elegant elven woman materializes before you. She seems surprised.
You can see me. A godwoken in my presence. You are... I am the Meister's apprentice. I study under her, but I do not learn. I hear tales of the ritual, of what lies beyond. Such wonders, such powers. I decide to pursue them myself. Meister tells me it cannot happen, that I am not godwoken. But in my heart, I know I'm special. I try. I burn the root. I breathe the smoke and it burns me back. No air fills my lungs, only fire. When the darkness falls, I cannot cry out. I leave my life behind with a shameful whimper.
The spirit looks at you regretfully.
It is hard to hear of such power and not covet it for yourself. I lie to myself and convince myself that I am special. But I am not special. I am dead.
Quercus, what are you looking at? Egad, stop gawking at the shield. You ought to be quite used to such journeys into that stone realm by now. Meanwhile, the acorn draws nearer. I read through some tomes I saw that cranky old lizard carrying. Some fascinating leads, but nothing like the power we need to stop the Knights of Dre and their wicked plot. Our gargantuan friend has something of a one-track mind, Quercus? Why are all giants so focused on taking all they can? Yes, our shield may have given a lot of itself. I had noticed, you know. I owe our shield my life several times over. I hardly need to grovel and thank it each time. I'm sure it knows I appreciate it. Now, if you're quite finished ogling your favorite long-legged scratching post, we need to get on and save the world already.
Back. She doesn't feel like...
I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much.
You're safe among friends. Never forget.
Hello, lady.
The little boy beside her looks at you. He picks his nose.
We're waiting for Joe.
Quirkus, what do you... I read through some tomes. I saw that cranky old hour guy. Yeah, Now.
The spirit of an elegant elven woman.
You. I am the Meister. No air fills my lungs.
The spirit...
It is hot.
The Meister sits slumped in her...
What news? Can you channel enough source? Are you powerful enough to proceed? Then why, pray tell, are you wasting both my...